Hey guys, I'm back on YouTube and I'm doing another video, specifically another Jak and Dexter video. Today I wanted to do a video on kind of like another theory video similar to where there are really only 100 power cells in Jak and Dexter. Um, I want to do a video on, this seems to be a pretty heated discussion when it comes to a lot of Jak and Dexter fans. But I want to do a video on, is Jak really Mar? Now, if you've played the whole series, especially more than once, you know that Jak, his real name is actually Mar. But is he the actual Mar mentioned in Jak 2 that built Haven City and built a lot of the areas around the catacombs that kind of leads up to it? Well, maybe. Because it's kind of left up in this air, because you got to consider one thing. A lot of people say that, well, he's Mar because when the little kid in Jak 2, little Jak, when he went back to the past, he grows up and then he becomes Mar and builds Haven City. Well, there's a couple of problems with that issue. First, how in the world would the kid even know that his name was Mar? Because that was never confirmed until Jak was way older and went back to the future. And number two, that particular Jak in order for everything to go into full circle, that particular Jak has to go back to the future, has to go back to the future and become the Jak that we know in Jak 2 and, get it Darky Go experiments on him and stuff like that. So that little story right there has to come into full circle according for it to work. So who is the Mar that Jak was named after, and is Jak really the same person? Well, maybe. Because at the end of Jak 3, a lot of people have a theory that Jak traveled through time at the end of Jak 3 and did all that stuff and then came back really quickly and then went behind Dexter and, and said that we're partners or whatever. Well, there's a couple problems with that theory as well. One, that was never confirmed that they were traveling through time, and actually, if you listen closely, one of the lead precursor actually said that he wanted to show Jak the universe, not other points of time. He was planning on taking them to other planets, is what he was doing, because if you listen closely to the end of Jak 3, you find out that the Dark Makers, or the Dark Precursors, most of them dwell in other planets, because they used to live on that Jak and Dexter's planet, but then they left a long time ago, but then they had returned in Jak 3, but they saw kind of the power that Jak was able to do in Jak 3, so they decided to take him to other planets so he can help defeat those, Dark Precursors as well, or Dark Makers, whatever you want to call them. So he never even remotely said that they were going to be traveling through time. In fact, that is actually not the case at all. They were planning on traveling to other parts of the universe. So that's theory problem number one. Theory problem number two, Jak clearly said to Dexter at the end that he said, "I couldn't leave you." So why would he do all that stuff and then come back and say, "I couldn't leave you"? Why wouldn't he say, "Oh, I did all that stuff and now I'm back, to be partners with you once again"? And I'm like, why would he say that? So that's the major problem. So I would consider that theory debunked. If you want to believe that theory, you can, but I disagree with that one strongly. Okay, so now a lot of people use this to back their theory up on Jak being Mar, because at the end of Jak 3, Ashlyn, when Jak confirms that his first name was Mar because he finds out through his dad, Damus, Ashlyn says, "Wait, Jak is Mar? The Mar?" And kind of looks at Seam, and Seam kind of nods his head. I'm like, well, maybe. That's the only problem I kind of have with it. And I'm like, well, maybe Naughty Dog was trying to say that Jak was Mar, but if they were, then there's a couple of huge problems with their plot holes. Reason number one, like I said just at the beginning of the video, what point did Jak go back to the past and rebuild Haven City? Because he never travels back to the Warp Gate in any other part of the series, except for at the end of Jak 2, which that Jak has to grow back up and come back into Jak the future, and become Dark Jak again. I mean, that story has to go full circle. So the only way in order for that to work is Jak at some point after Jak 3 has to go back to the past, right after, Jak and Samos and Kira go to the future. He would have to go to the past at some point, build Haven City, and then claim himself as Mar. That's the only way that theory would work. So, did that happen anywhere throughout the series? No, that did not. But does that mean that didn't happen at all? No, that doesn't. So that's why I say, well, maybe yes and no. So if we just go by the story that we're presented with so far, if Naughty Dog ever makes another Jak game, which at this point it's looking really bleak, if we're just going by what the story we're presented with so far, I would say no, because Jak has never gone back through any warp gate, and even remotely hinted that he's going to, and call himself Mar and build Haven City and all those other areas that lead to the catacombs. So as of this point, I would say no. Now, if another game is made, and they confirm that Jak goes back, and becomes Mar, which I highly doubt it, because first of all, I don't foresee, at this point, I don't really see another Jak game being made, not by Naughty Dog at least. And number two, even if they did, I really don't think that's the way they would go in the story. I would be shocked if they did. So unless that actually happens, I would say that Jak is not the same person as Mar. Now, his name is actually Mar, but Damus may name Jak Mar after the Mar. Mar is a completely different person, in my opinion. If you want my total, correct, unbiased opinion, Mar and Jak are two completely different people. Now, like I said, Jak's name is actually Mar, but don't confuse that Mar with the different Mar that built Haven City. So, what is your discussion on this? Do you think that Jak is Mar? And if you do, what are your reasonings behind it? Or do you agree with me and say that Jak, at this point, at least at this point in the story, Jak cannot be Mar because he's never gone back to the past and built Haven City? I mean, it's not going to happen, and I don't really see any purpose behind that. So that's why, in my opinion, Jak is not Mar. Mar and Jak are two completely different people. So, and my last little point here, and this is something kind of mild, but in Jak 2, you actually see a statue of Mar, and that particular Mar looks nothing like Jak. It doesn't look like Jak when he's way older. It doesn't look like Jak when he's younger. It doesn't look like Jak the way he is now. It looks nothing like Jak at all. So if that's what Naughty Dog was going for, they're doing a very poor job of it, because they didn't even remotely make that statue look like Jak at all. Not even a few, because I have looked at images at that to see if that was true, to see if that particular statue had the same facial features as Jak. The only thing similar is the ears that everybody else in the Jak and Daxter universe has. So, and that's, like I said, that may seem kind of like a weak backup for my theory, but I would say that Jak and Mar are two completely different people. So is Jak the Mar that is mentioned in Jak 2? I would say no. So that is my theory and my video. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to rate, subscribe, and look out for future videos, because I will see you in the next video.